As a historian specializing in railway folklore, I've come across my fair share of ghost stories and urban legends. Most of them I could debunk with a bit of research and logic, but there was one tale that always intrigued me: the legend of the midnight train. The story goes that in the deep woods, hidden away from civilization, there exists an old, forgotten train station. At midnight, a ghost train is said to arrive, taking its passengers to destinations unknown and terrifying. The legend was vague, filled with inconsistencies, but something about it always tugged at my curiosity. After months of research and following leads, I finally pinpointed the likely location of this elusive station. Armed with my camera, notebook, and an uneasy sense of excitement, I set out to find it. The hike through the dense forest was challenging, but as the sun set and shadows grew long, I stumbled upon it, a dilapidated station, overgrown with vines and barely visible in the moonlight. I checked my watch, 11:50 p.m., perfect timing. I set up my camera to document any paranormal activity and waited. As the minutes ticked by, the air grew colder and an eerie silence settled over the forest. Then, at precisely midnight, I heard it, the distant sound of a train whistle, growing louder and louder until the train itself emerged from the darkness. It was an old steam engine, impossibly well preserved, yet emitting an otherworldly glow. The doors opened, and against my better judgment, I boarded. Inside, the train was furnished in a luxurious, yet outdated style, reminiscent of the early 20th century. There were other passengers, but their expressions were vacant, their eyes hollow. As the train started moving, I felt a sudden jolt and a wave of disorientation. I approached one of the passengers, a middle-aged man in a suit, and tried to strike up a conversation, but he simply stared through me as if I wasn't there. I moved to another car and found a young woman who seemed just as out of place as I felt. She introduced herself as Clara, and to my relief, she could see and speak to me. Clara explained that she had boarded the train in 1923, thinking it was a regular service. She had been trapped ever since, unable to leave her age, forced to relive the same journey night after night. The train, Clara revealed, was a conduit between worlds, collecting souls to fuel its endless journey. Each passenger had their own story of how they ended up here, but none had found a way to escape. Some had succumbed to madness, while others, like Clara, retained a sliver of hope. Determined not to share their fate, I explored the train, looking for clues. The more I investigated, the more I felt the presence of something malevolent, watching, waiting. In the conductor's cabin, I found an old logbook filled with the names of countless passengers and strange symbols that hurt my eyes to look at. With Clara's help, I deciphered some of the symbols. They were part of an ancient ritual meant to bind souls to the train. The logbook mentioned a hidden compartment in the last car, said to contain an artifact that could break the curse. We made our way to the last car, but as we approached, the other passengers started to change. Their hollow eyes turned toward us, and they began to move with a sinister purpose. Clara and I ran, the train seeming to stretch endlessly before us. Finally, we reached the hidden compartment and found a small, ornate box. Opening it, we discovered a talisman inscribed with the same symbols from the logbook. Following the instructions, we performed the counter ritual, chanting the words. As the train roared around us, the air crackled with energy and the passengers' movements grew frantic and desperate. With a final surge of power, the talisman shattered and the train screeched to a halt. The ghostly passengers faded into mist, their souls finally freed. Clara and I found ourselves back at the abandoned station, the train now nothing more than a rusted relic. Clara thanked me, her form flickering as she prepared to move on. "You did it," she said with a sad smile. "You set us free." As she disappeared, I felt a profound sense of relief and sorrow. I had uncovered the truth behind the legend, but at a great cost. A midnight train would no longer claim unsuspecting souls, but its haunting journey would remain etched in my memory forever. I left the forest, vowing to share the story of the midnight train so others would know the dangers of curiosity and the price of uncovering the unknown.